Close your eyes and let me take you on a journey back to your middle and high school days. Imagine you're walking down the school hallway to your next class. Maybe you're feeling happy, maybe you're tired, or maybe you're a little bit of both. Okay, with your eyes closed, let's shift gears a little bit and think about what matters most to you. It can be anything at all, a passion, a hobby, or even an opinion. Okay, you may open your eyes. Now I'd like to start by asking you this. Would how you have felt just now, those internal thoughts, bottled up feelings, and value of school change if people had cared about that thing that mattered to you? How would you feel if you were given the chance to explore that in school? Now I'd like to ask you two questions, and you may respond by raising your hand if this is something you felt too. I know I'm not the only one that's come home from school feeling everything but accomplished. How many of you have gone home and felt like your passions and ideas were shot down and ignored? Or that you stood out from everyone else because you didn't get good grades or you weren't excelling at a certain subject? Well, look around you. As you can see, you are not alone. But were you ever so curious as to why you might be feeling this way? Let me explain. Hi, my name is Natalia. I'm a junior in high school, the daughter of a teacher, I do well in social studies, and I get pretty decent grades. This is my friend Raisa. She's also a junior in high school, the daughter of a teacher who does well in social studies and gets pretty decent grades. From an academic perspective, there really isn't much difference between the two of us. But what I didn't tell you is that I love to bake, I love to be around dogs, and I can play the flute. Raisa, on the other hand, loves to write, sing, and perform. You see, my initial introduction had nothing to do with what mattered to us. Everything that could set us apart from one another, everything that made us unique individuals was ignored. But that's exactly it. Would you have noticed that without me pointing it out? From the age of 3 to 13, I was in the same school. It was a place I called home, a space I grew up in, and a place where I thought opportunities were endless. I loved school and I loved learning, and although I had the same routine every day, I'd wake up, go to school, see my friends, listen to my teachers, go home, do my homework, and repeat, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. I never felt like I wanted more, and even with those moments of disappointment and frustration, I simply thought it was normal to feel that way. Besides, not everyone gets their way all the time. I was a straight A student till I hit this brick wall in 7th grade. From my point of view, the world was crumbling down on me. I couldn't seem to get anything right, and I felt like the dumbest student in my class. I couldn't understand why the Pythagorean theorem did what it did, or why I had to measure buoyancy. My grades were falling down a steep hill, and I let it define me. It began to overpower every other quality about myself. It didn't matter that I could contribute so much more to the school than my grades. No one cared that I liked animals or that I wanted to learn about my culture's history. My interests didn't matter because they weren't on the curriculum. I began to question what all the academic work was doing for me. Was it really making me a better person? I was a stressed out 13-year-old, and at that age, exploring your passions and identifying who you are as a person is key. But instead, my education set me up to fail, to be so afraid of what a 7th grade science test would do to me going to college. I was upset with myself and the fact that I wasn't like everybody else in my class. That was until my family and I made the biggest move of our lives. We moved to a new startup school in a new country. All I knew was that it was different, but that gave me a chance for a fresh start. Fast forward 4 years later, I am now 16 and proud to say that I found what I've been missing out on all this time. I found a school that understands me and understands how I want to learn. It's opened my eyes to 3 words I never thought I'd love to hear so much: innovation, passion, and creativity. These 3 words intertwine perfectly, and when put together, all describe implementing ideas to create something new. And at my school, it's the driving force behind each student having their own identity. It's what allows us to come to school with a chance to be ourselves and feel valued for what we like. From my point of view, I saw a tremendous difference in the happiness and relationships of both students and teachers. We were able to pick up the smallest details about each other that made each of us unique, and because of that, everyone felt like they had a place in our community. And there was at least one person that saw the importance of their interests. I believe I can attribute this to a program our school calls Genius Hour. I'm not going to go into extreme detail, but basically, Genius Hour is a 5-cycle program where we have 1 hour a week to explore something we are interested in. It can be anything like an idea, a question, a skill, or even creating a product. But at the end of these cycles, we come together as a community and share what we learned. This experience teaches us about ourselves as well as the world that surrounds us. Well, let me tell you, this changed how I viewed and most importantly, valued people. I could now walk into the room and remember that the girl in the corner was a passionate advocate for animal rights, and the boy sitting on the couch was so interested in the biodiversity of our city that he reached out to local communities to learn more. Through this, students can greatly contribute to our community, whether it's through service, teaching others, or even innovating something that works towards a worldwide goal. We all become change makers and thrive academically and socially because we each have a purpose that's recognized. To give you a bigger idea of just how impactful these programs are on our students, I took the time to interview a few community members on their take of this new holistic approach our school is taking, as well as their take on the Genius Hour experience.
So we started the Genius Hours here in school to create a platform for students to showcase their talents and their interests. And it was originally a way to kind of bring our community together to help each other notice the uniqueness of each member of our community through the projects that they engage in. So when we launched Genius Hours, we really noticed a big change in how students interact with each other. And we also noticed how every student really was able to showcase how unique they were, and they were able to showcase their passions. And we've seen how the other students have been responding to that really openly. And I feel like there's just a deeper sense of appreciation in the community for each other and the uniqueness that they bring to the school.
Our school has allowed me to explore my passion through junior summer, which is JMT. So JMT is a student-led marketing team where we make videos on YouTube channels and our YouTube channel and upload posts and reels on Instagram. When I first had this idea with my team and talked to the school about this, our school was more than happy to help us explore this passion. And knowing that our passions are valued gave us courage to try new things and learn more about our passions.
Genius Art projects that I've done this year allowed me to talk to my friends about our interests. When I watch other people's presentation, I learn what they are passionate about. For example, some people were learning new languages or new instruments. For some of my Genius Art projects, I was doing group project with other people, which gave me more chances to share our unique ideas. So in the end, we were able to create meaningful projects.
So now the question is, if this program works so well and has such a great impact on students, why aren't all schools adopting it? Well, to be fair, there are a few schools that are adopting this new holistic approach to learning that creates a better future for learners. One that really stood out to me was Green School International. They are a global education network of schools in Indonesia, South Africa, New Zealand, and Mexico. And although their campuses look quite different from ours, there are key similarities about them that make me realize the ideas for the future are more alike than they seem. Green School strives to champion a new model of education that nurtures the whole child, giving them agency in their own lives and learning so that they can thrive with purpose in our ever-changing world. So yes, it is valid to say that there are some schools changing to this new approach to learning, but there simply aren't enough. If schools were able to open their eyes to the idea of being valued as a student by accepting their interests, helping them achieve their goals, and overall just valuing them for who they are, they would be contributing to every aspect of a student. Not just what they teach them academically, but their happiness, confidence, and self-esteem, which will guide them to live with purpose in our ever-changing world. And as a result of this, I, along with the fellow students around me, have gained agency in our own lives and learning. We've taken different opportunities to suggest how we want to learn, and went beyond that by creating models to execute our knowledge to fulfill so much more than what's on a simple curriculum. We are able to advocate for this amazing approach to learning that works towards creating a better future for education. So now, think about the education you would have wanted, the opportunities you could have had, and the impact it could have made. Think of your high school self. What would you have chosen to explore if you had a genius hour? Now, I'd like to ask you, why stick to our old ways when we can adopt these new values and improve education for our future learners? It's time for a change. Thank you. Yes.